Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. Today I'm talking about how to predict divorce. Okay, so there are like a number of different things that can predict divorce, right? There are a number of things, but there are some common ones, and if you've got like a lot of these basically in your bag, then it's likely that your relationship could be heading towards divorce, or you might be noticing it in other people. Like perhaps you're worried about, maybe your parents might be getting, you're worried about your parents getting a divorce, or some friends that you're really close to, maybe you're worried about that. So if you would like to know how to predict divorce, then this video is for you. But there is a number of different things, right? And sometimes they're not all the same with different with couples, right? But so here's a collection of stuff basically on how to predict divorce. So the first one is, right, it's if basically there are always constant threats from either one of the couples about leaving, right? So like, oh, if you do this, I'm going to leave you. Or if you're going to do that, then I'm going to leave you. Or if this ever happens, then I'm going to leave you. Or if you do that one more time, I'm going to leave you, right? So if there are threats about leaving, right? And it's always there, right? Like it's there quite frequently, right? It's something that they throw around at each other, right? It's like punishment. Like if you do this one more time, I'm gonna leave. I'm never gonna come back. That is a sign that a divorce could happen, because what they're doing is they're airing to each other the possibility of leaving, right? So one of the things that me and my wife said to each other is that we would never threaten the end of the relationship if we were unhappy with each other. Because first of all, I know that if that threat is there and we use that threat against each other, then it's actually more likely to happen. It's almost like you're speaking it into existence, right? So if there's something like that going on, then yeah, it's likely that that actually may happen. So if that is happening with you, then and you don't want your marriage to end, then it's a good idea to stop saying things like that, right? To stop using that as a threat, because it could happen one day. They might be like, okay, fine, let's break up, right? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to put that threat out there. So another thing that is quite common is when two people are growing apart, right? And you hear about that quite a lot. And sometimes people can get confused about what that kind of thing means. Like, what do you mean they grew apart? You know? Or what happened there? Like, what is it to do with their careers? But they've always had different careers. What does it mean by them growing apart? So what it actually means is that they're no longer spending time together, right? This is what from I've seen. They have two separate lives, right? So they've got their respective careers, or one's a homemaker. Sometimes they spend like a little bit of time with each other in the evenings, but most of the time one of them comes home from work, or they both come home from work, and then they go away from each other. They may have dinner together, but then they go and do their separate things. They no longer spend time together, right? And on the weekends, the woman may go out and hang out with her girlfriends, or go around her mother's house, right? Go and see her parents, or go and do something else. And the guy is also out doing something different, or he's at home, right? Or he maybe goes out and goes fishing with his buddies, or goes on a weekend with his mates or something like that. And or maybe she does something similar as well. Maybe she goes out and does something like that, and she goes out with her mates for a weekend, right? But this is happening all the time, right? Pretty much constantly. Like every weekend they're not spending time together. And if there's an occasional few hours where they do spend time together, they are doing something separate in the same house, right? So the thing is that I try and encourage people when they are trying to meet someone, when they're dating, is, well, you got not only have you got to find someone that you're attracted to, but you've also got to find someone that you actually like spending time with, and you have a lot of things in common, right, that you can do together, right? So you have a lot of common activities, which is why essentially when you're trying to find someone to be with, you should find someone who is similar to you, who likes to do the same things as you, right? So you can enjoy each other's company. And also another good point as well is that you got to enjoy, not just like doing similar things, but you've actually got to like each other, and perhaps make each other laugh and have the ability to do that, and just really get on. So you should be romantic and be attracted to each other, but you should also be really, really good friends and really enjoy being around them, right? And I know so many couples that don't actually like being around each other. They get on each other's nerves, right? And that's when you start to see that they're kind of bickering at each other, making like really horrible remarks and stuff. Which leads me into another sign, which is there's a lot of bickering, right? There is a lot of that bickering going on. And it's almost like that they don't have a good word to say about each other, right? They don't have nothing nice to say about each other, right? You know, like someone like, for example, someone says to you, oh yeah, you know, I'm just out with the ball and chain, and they're talking about their wife or their husband, right? It's like the ball and chain. Like, just think about that. You know, think about the analogies that you use for each other. You know, use things like more loving things like, oh, my better half. You know, that's something nice to say about your partner. You know, you know, my beautiful wife, or my lovely husband, I'm here with my you know, the love of my life. So all these like sweet little things that you can say to each other. But basically when people are heading towards divorce, all this kind of nice sweet stuff goes out the window, and they're kind of annoyed, they're rolling their eyes at each other, which is a sign of disgust, by the way. If you ever see someone rolling their eyes at their spouse, the rolling of the eyes, that motion, is actually a sign of disgust, and that they're actually disgusted by their partner. And if you're disgusted by your partner, either by their behavior or the way that they look, your attraction for them, or both, right, that's really not a good sign either, okay? So there are lots of little different things that go into what can predict a divorce, but these are like some of them, right? So if you can see a lot of these similar things going on with you or with other people that are married, then it's time to really think about that, right? And try to reverse engineer what's going on if you want to keep your marriage, right? So that's my advice on that. And those are the really big signs that their marriage could be heading towards divorce, okay? But obviously with these kinds of things that I've said, right, it doesn't mean things can't be resolved, that things can't be fixed, right? But it does take both people to participate in saving the relationship. It really does. Because you can change yourself, but you can't change someone else. They have to want to change, right? And if they don't want to change, then it might be the case that nothing really much can save the relationship. Both people need to want to make the relationship work for it to work. If one person is already out, or has already got one foot out of the door and is about to bolt, then there's not really much you can do. Obviously, you can try and put your best foot forward to try and salvage things, but ultimately, if they're not willing to work on the relationship, you're only stalling the divorce or the breakup. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Bye.